It's tech, man. Niggas can't tell me shit. I do what I do like I do for the hood. Pop tools, pop jewels, burn backwoods. Slay DJs who think they untouchable. Renegade, never been afraid MCs get it too. The moral of the story is this. I used to say get off, but this time suck my dick. I'm from BK, home of Big and Aaliyah. Watch out a pound or the 4-5 leave ya. I guess I'm back where I started.
What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at The Distance. Got a video for you guys. This is a prediction for the upcoming bout between Marcos Maidana and Devon Alexander. Bout takes place on HBO on February the 25th in St. Louis. It's going to be 10 rounds and it's going to be a welterweight bout. So anyway, I don't even know if I just repeated myself if I said, well, it's going to be a welterweight bout twice. But anyway, both fighters are moving up from 140 to 147. And pretty much Devon Alexander, it did not look too good in his last bout against Lucas Matisse. It was a close one, and many didn't think that he won the bout. So this is another hometown fight for Alexander. He's moving up in weight. He has a new promotional company, and he's facing one of the toughest competitors at 140 pounds, who is Marcos Maidana. On the other hand, Marcos Maidana was in a Fight of the Year candidate last year, and I believe was in another bout in September, and I believe he got a knockout win. And now he's moving up to 147 as well. He was in a scheduled bout between himself and Robert Guerrero, but that fight did not take place due to an injury to Robert Guerrero. So this bout is going to be I think it's very intriguing. There's some that are saying Devon Alexander should win, some saying that Marcos Maidana should win this fight. Many are looking, both ways. It could be a decision for Alexander or a knockout for Maidana. In this fight, I believe that Maidana's back is against the wall in this fight. The reason I think that Maidana's back is against the wall in this fight is due to the fact that this is another hometown fight for Devon Alexander. His last two fights in St. Louis resulted in decisions in favor of Alexander in fights that some believe that he lost. Some believe he lost against Andreas Kotelnik, and many believe he lost against Lucas Matisse. So this is another fight to where we have a style problem. A style that possesses a problem for Devon Alexander. And Marcos Maidana is a tough competitor, and he continues to come forward, and he'll walk through punches in order to try to land his shots. And this particular fight, this is what he has to do. He has to come in, and he has to be relentless. He has to sustain a very good body attack. He has to come up top with short punches on the inside. And he does well of shortening his punches on the inside. And and walking forward and eating shots and giving shots back in return, and and pressuring fighters to make them go back in the corners, making them go into the ropes, and kind of making fighters uncomfortable. He fights very well in close quarters, and this is the kind of fight for him. He wants to fight Alexander in close quarters. He doesn't want Alexander on the outside controlling it with his jab or anything. He just wants to get him. He wants to back him up and make him fight off the back foot. If Alexander goes for the uppercut, then and he can take that uppercut, then best believe that Maidana, straight up Maidana can actually capitalize on it if he can eat that shot, because it's going to leave Alexander open, because the uppercut's a punch that leaves the fighter open, because especially in Maidana's case, because he knows how to shorten up that shot on the inside. He knows how to shorten up his right hand on the inside. He knows how to shorten up his right hook. Sometimes he comes in wild and he comes in wide, but in this particular fight, he can take that risk. It depends on if he respects Alexander's punching power early. If he respects it early, then that gives Alexander time to stand on the outside and maneuver around Maidana. But just overall, I just think Maidana needs to go in and he needs to go for the kill in this fight. He needs to go for the kill in the mid rounds. He needs to go. He needs to try to get him some knockdowns. He needs to try to take the range and space away from Alexander, and go to his body. Look for those shots to the solar plexus. Look to capitalize on try to countering his jab, which is kind of weak technically. So on the other side, you have Devon Alexander. Devon Alexander does have good timing, but the problem with his timing is he has a horrible ass jab. The jab that I've mentioned numerous times, it just does not work for him. I just don't think that jab works for him, just because he's not necessarily a mover. In this particular fight against Marcos Maidana, against a pressure fighter, there's two things that you want to do against a pressure fighter. You want to utilize a lot of movement, but also you want to time your opponent and catch him walking in. If you time and catch him walking in, then best believe you have a pressure fighter that's going to think a little more before they come inside, and they're going to wait. And as a pressure fighter waits, that gives you the opportunity to stand on the outside, jab, and do what you need to do, you know, and work your own pace of the fight. He has to slow down the pace. He has to fight at a slower tempo, kind of a mid-tempo in this fight against Maidana. Catch him coming in. He has to, and also aim that uppercut towards the body. If he aims that uppercut towards the body, then he could actually slow down Maidana, even stop him in his tracks a little bit, and make him second guess walking inside. Because Maidana is going to walk inside to a lot of punches, or walk inside on punches and this, that, and the third. So if Alexander could stand and he could utilize a lot of lateral movement, move his shoulders to kind of take away from the blows of Maidana's punches. If he can time them, and that's the thing about pressure fighters, you have to time a pressure fighter very well. You have to time them. You have to time them walking in, and you have to kind of turn your body and make them walk towards you. And as they're walking towards you, you can jab from specific angles, and you can turn them and land shots they don't see coming. And Alexander does have quick hands. He does have decent power. He has decent power in his punches. And if he gets enough leverage behind that uppercut, he can take out anybody when he catches them. So who I think is going to win this fight, with all that being said, this is a hard one for me. I did come off as a Devon Alexander fanboy, even though I'm not an Alexander fanboy in the last fight. But just overall, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to say that if Marcos Maidana doesn't knock him out, Alexander gets the decision win. But overall, I'm going to go with Devon Alexander, surprisingly. And this one, I'm surprisingly going to go with Devon Alexander. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Alexander, because I think Alexander does have good boxing skill. And he does have trouble against the pressure fighter. He has trouble against pressure fighters. He has trouble against fighters that stand right directly in front of him. And but in this particular fight, I think we're gonna have a bigger ring that he could work well from. And as Maidana is gonna be walking towards him, I think he's gonna be walking towards him very early in this fight. And as he walks towards him early, I think Alexander's gonna catch him with punches very early. And also, it's a 10-round fight, so I think the 10-round fight works a little bit more in Alexander's favor. And I'm surprisingly gonna go with Devon Alexander in this fight, because I just think that his skill is a lot better. His technique is a little bit better, and I just think he has the ability to win this fight based on skill, and also being at 147, he may have a little more punch resistance, and he may have a little more energy in the later rounds, being at 147. So I'm surprisingly gonna go with Devon Alexander in this 10-round fight. So anyway, peeps, I'm out of here. That was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Hey, whatever happened to them? Times done changed.